Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this video I'm going to show you really easily and really quickly how to do an HDR image in Adobe Lightroom. Now HDR just stands for high dynamic range. A lot of people have heard of it, and so it kind of has a bad rap, but Adobe has really done a really good job, at least in Lightroom, to make it a very realistic HDR, not some of the kind of HDR images that you see out there that are way overdone. And so what kind of Adobe has done here is take these images, and instead of applying these really crunchy effects to it like a program would, like Photomatix, Adobe has made these images basically give you more information to edit rather than trying to give you some filters like photorealism and all this kind of funky stuff. So all you need to do this really quick is just 3 images. So I have these 3 images down here. I have a neutral exposure based on what the camera saw, and then I have a 2-stop underexposed image, and this gives more detail in the highlight area, which is in this case the sky. And then I have an overexposed image, which gives the detail in the shadow area, which is kind of the foreground elements here. So what I'm going to do to bring up the HDR dialog box is I'm just going to highlight all of these, right-click, and select Photo Merge and HDR. And it's going to generate a quick preview for me so I can see kind of how it will look. So here's the preview here, and you can see it looks a little bit different from our images that we had there. And the reason for that is because it had auto tone turned on. And so what this basically does is it basically takes the shadow area and brightens it up, and it takes the highlight area and brings it down. You can technically do this once you generate the final image. So I always just kind of leave that turned off because I want to make the adjustments myself. Auto align, what that does is just if it wasn't taken on a tripod, you can turn that on, and it will try to Adobe will try to straighten up the images to where all the features match. And also if you got the ghosting here, deghosting, if you have a lot of movement, so let's say these bushes here. Let me turn this back on so you can kind of see. If these little shrubs and bushes in the water had a lot of movement, if it was really windy, you can actually turn this on and it'll kind of auto deghost some of that and try to take out some of the movement. So in this image, I don't particularly need that. So I'm going to keep that none. I'm going to turn that back off, and I'm going to click Merge. All right, so you can see down here we have another 4th image here, and this is a DNG file. It created a digital negative for us, but you can tell it's the HDR image by the file name right here, HDR at the end of the file name. And so here is where we can do all of the main editing for our file. And so let's just do a couple quick things, because I noticed one thing is off, and that is the horizons on. So I'm going to straighten this up real quick. Right there. So that's straight there. So let's do a little experiment here. We have the exposure slider, and we can normally do that like we normally do. But check this out. So I'm going to take it all the way to the right. We have a blank white image here, and that's because we have enough data to give us +10 of exposure compensation here. And if we were to go to one of the other images, we only get about 5 stops. And you can see we're losing a lot of detail there. So that's one thing that HDR does for you. So when we go back to this image, I can take the shadows, I can bump those up, take the highlights, bump those down, maybe bump the exposure up a little bit, vibrance, and we're doing this because we have a lot more detail to play with. And I'm adding color to it, but I'm just going to do black and white just to see how that looks. So we'll do that right there. Take down the highlights even more. So you can see we have all this room to play with. I can go down all the way to in the blacks area too. You can kind of see how we got all those all the data in the clouds there. So that's what basically the HDR image does in Lightroom. It gives you just more room to play with. So that's one reason why I like this over other programs like Photomatix. But it's a really cool feature. So that's a really easy way to do HDR if you haven't ever tried it before. If you have one of the later versions of Adobe Lightroom, you can go ahead and play with that and make your own HDR images. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick video on how to turn your images into HDR images. And this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and I will see you in the next video.